She was very quiet for a few minutes. Her hands were clasped tightly in her lap. She was looking down at them. Suddenly, I remembered Dibbs throwing himself face down, prone on the floor, rigid, quiet. Again, I thought that she was as sad and remote as her son. Finally, she glanced at me, looked away quickly, avoided my eyes. I must tell you this, she said. I can only refer you to the school for any more details of Dibbs's case history. There is nothing more that I can add, and I will not be able to come in for any interviews myself. If that is one of your conditions, we will forget the whole arrangement right now. There is nothing more I can add. It is a tragedy, a great tragedy. But Dibbs, well, he is just mentally retarded. He was born that way. But I cannot come in for any interviews or questioning. She glanced at me again. She was terrified at the thought of any interviewing for herself. I understand, I said. I'll respect your wishes in this matter. But I would like to say this. If at any time at all you ever do want to talk to me about Dibbs, feel free to get in touch with me. But I will leave that entirely up to you. She seemed to relax a little. My husband is not willing to come in either, she said. That's all right, I said. Whatever you decide. When I bring him to the center, I won't be able to stay there and wait for him. I'll have to come back when the hour is up, she said. That will be all right, I assured her. You may bring him over and leave him there, then pick him up after the hour is over. Or you may send him over with someone else if you prefer. Thank you, she said. Then after another very long pause, she added, I appreciate your understanding. We finished our tea. We talked about a few more non-essentials. Dorothy was mentioned only as a vital statistic and a perfect child. Dibbs's mother had shown more fear, anxiety, and panic in this interview than Dibbs had shown in his first session. There would be nothing gained by trying to persuade her to come in for some help for herself. It was too much of a threat to her and too risky. Chances are we would only lose Dibbs. Besides, I had a strong feeling that Dibbs would be far more responsive than his mother ever could be. Dibbs had protested the locking of doors, but some very important doors in her life had already been securely locked. It was almost too late for her to protest. As a matter of fact, in this brief interview, she had been desperately trying to lock another door. As I took my departure, she came to the door with me. "You're sure you wouldn't rather see him in his playroom?" she asked. "He has so many nice toys, and we would buy anything else that you might want. Anything." She was really desperate. I felt a twinge of sympathy for her. I thanked her for her offer, but again told her that I could only see him in the playroom at the center. "I will let you know as soon as we decide," she said with a slight wave of the paper she held. "Thank you," I said. I left. Walking down the street to my car, I felt the oppressive weight of that troubled family. I thought of Dibbs and his beautifully equipped playroom. I did not have to enter that playroom to be reasonably certain that everything money could buy was there. And I was absolutely certain that there was a solid, highly polished door too, and a sturdy lock that was too often locked securely. I wondered what she would be able to add to the story of Dibs if she should ever decide to tell it. Certainly, there were no glib answers to explain the dynamics of the family relationships here. What must this woman really think and feel about Dibs and the part she played in his young life to be so terrorized at the prospect of being interviewed and questioned about the situation? I wondered whether I had handled the situation in the most fruitful way, or whether I had only put a pressure that might cause her to back away from the study of this child. I wondered what decision she and her husband might make. Would they consent to the arrangement we had discussed? Would I ever see Dibs again? And if I did, what would grow out of the experience?